Hi everyone. For this lesson, I'll show you how to come up with a system of inequalities for a shaded region. Alright, so we already have it shaded here, and we know that it's in the first quadrant. So we need to have the x be only the positive values, and same thing with the y. So to express that as an inequality, we can say y must be bigger or equal to 0, and x must be bigger or equal to 0. Alright, so let's come up with an inequality for the blue line. We know it's going to be a solid line, right? And we know that the y-intercept is at 6 and the slope is 1/2, okay, because it goes up 1 over 2. So we can write out y, we'll leave this as blank for now, 1/2 x, because the slope is 1/2, plus the 6, right? So we have to figure out what will go in between here, the y and the 1/2 x plus 6, right? So let's just take a guess, right? Let's say it's greater than or equal to, right? So let's see. Let's plug in our test point, which is right here. That's our test point. And let's do out the math here. So let's plug in 0 for y and 0 for x, right? So we're left with 0 is greater or equal to 6. And we know this is false. So we should shade the side that is opposite of the test point, right? So this side here. But we don't want that, right? We don't want to shade that side. We want to shade the side that is including the test point, okay? So we want to shade the side that includes the test point. So we have to switch this, all right? So let's erase this and switch it. All right? Instead of a greater than or equal to, we'll use less than or equal to, right? So now let's plug our test point. Again, 0, 0. Plus 6, and that comes out to 0 is less than or equal to 6. And yes, this comes out to true. And if we were to shade looking at the blue line as the boundary line, we'll shade this side that includes the test point, and that's good because we already have the shaded side here, or the shaded region. Alright, so that's the one we're gonna have to go with, the less than or equal to. Alright, so we'll erase the question mark. Make it a little bit smaller here, and we'll put the less than or equal to. Okay, so we have 3 inequalities so far, right? The only thing missing is the yellow one. Alright, so now let's take a look at the yellow line. We know, again, it's a solid line, right? And the y-intercept is at 2 and the slope is down 3 over 1, so negative 3 over 1. So the inequality that I want to write will be y, we'll leave this one as a blank, negative 3x plus 2, right? That's because the y-intercept is at 2 and the slope is negative 3 over 1, or just negative 3. And again, we'll put a question mark here, right? Because we don't know if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So again, let's just take a wild guess, right? Let's just say in this case it's greater than or equal to, right? So now let's plug in our test point, the red point right here, and we're looking at the yellow line as the boundary line, right? So y is 0, negative 3 times 0 plus 2, and that reduces to 0 is greater or equal to 2, right? So this is false. Right? So if we were to look at the yellow boundary line, we want to shade the side that's opposite of the test point, right? So the test point is on the left hand side of the boundary line, so we'll shade the right hand side. And yes, that's the side that we want to shade because that's where the shaded region is, right? So we'll go with that one, right? So we'll erase question mark right there, and we'll put in the greater than or equal to. Alright, so now we can wrap it up. Let's make it look nice. We'll use the brace here. we know we're gonna need the y is greater or equal to 0. That one goes first. It doesn't really matter with the order. And then x is greater or equal to 0. And then we have the blue boundary line, which is represented by this inequality here. Y is less than or equal to 1/2 x plus 6. And the last one, the yellow boundary line, is represented by this inequality here. Y is greater or equal to negative 3x plus 2. Okay, so this system of inequalities, right, represent the shaded region here, or the set of solutions, okay, for this system of inequalities, right? And we're done, and we're happy. Big smile.